The mortuary operates quietly in the shadows of the city. My senior, who works there, once told me the place is far more complicated than people imagine. Most people assume the mortuary is merely the final stop of life. But inside those rooms, stories and secrets go far beyond what we think we know. She said what truly chills the heart isn't the dead themselves, but the truth surrounding them. Every morning, she enters the work area and smells the faint sweetness near the furnace, an odor impossible to ignore. One day, she told me a new employee suddenly broke down, claiming he saw something other than a body. He insisted the corpse's eyes were following him. No one believed him, yet his words cast unease across the whole team. There's a rule in the mortuary: don't stare at a body's face for too long. It's not superstition, it's hard-earned experience. Those illusions, she explained, come from psychological collapse, but explanations rarely calm anyone completely. In a place like this, stress amplifies everything: smells, temperature, time, until the mind begins creating visions of its own. During that period, they also received a body from a high-profile news case, putting everyone further on edge. Reporters crowded outside, but inside, every procedure still had to be finished on time, without error. She recalled that when the body entered the preparation room, the air suddenly grew heavy, like a fog had settled. Cases like this required strict documentation. Every step had to be perfect. She noticed the new employee staring intensely at the deceased's feet, as though searching for something. He suddenly asked, "Why are the toes moving?" Silence filled the room. No one knew what to say. She explained, it was just post-mortem muscle discharge. Yet the atmosphere remained unsettling. People in the mortuary understand that bodies can still exhibit reflexes after death, though newcomers struggle to accept this. In special cases, these reactions feel magnified, almost as if fear itself has taken shape. Before processing the body, the police arrived to confirm details. The hallway was silent except for footsteps. The officers looked exhausted. They said there were undisclosed details in the case. They didn't elaborate, but their tone alone revealed the weight of the incident. As she cleaned the body, she found unusual marks that didn't fully match reports from the news. She recorded everything as protocol required, but sensed the marks hinted at something overlooked. The new employee appeared again, more distressed than before, claiming he heard the body breathing. She reassured him, knowing such hallucinations often occur when tension peaks. The body was stored in the freezer. The room's temperature dropped sharply, freezing the air around them. She noticed an odd reflection on the freezer door, though she couldn't explain why it felt unsettling. When she headed back to the office, the sky outside dimmed abruptly, as though someone had lowered the world's brightness. A senior worker told her this kind of weather often triggered emotional shadows, the time when rookies were most vulnerable. He said a newcomer years ago also saw shadows drifting in the hallway, shadows no one else saw. She wasn't sure whether to believe him, though she admitted the job forces people to confront their deepest fears. Returning to the prep room, she found the new employee sitting in a corner, staring toward the freezer. He whispered that he heard a faint knock from inside the metal door. She checked immediately. Temperature normal door sealed no possibility of sound. Still, she knew tension distorts perception, twisting ordinary noises into something far more ominous. Just as she walked away, she received a message. The police required additional autopsy details. This meant the case had shifted and they needed to reopen the freezer for verification. The newcomer turned pale, terrified of approaching the cold metal door again. She decided to handle the reopening herself. Procedures had to be exact. The moment she pulled open the freezer, an abnormal chill rushed out, as if from an unseen space. Inside, the temperature was even lower than expected. Fog curled along the door, almost like breath. While examining the body, she discovered slight changes at a marked spot on the skin. The shift was small but significant enough to suggest the story behind the body was deeper than reported. She reviewed the police's updated documents and noticed an obvious gap in the timeline. Officers only said the investigation is ongoing, but no one explained the missing 3 hours. She suspected the marks had been altered or concealed, details the public would never see. A veteran worker fell silent when asked, eventually admitting such cases weren't rare. He said the mortuary had witnessed many stories withheld from the public truths buried beneath official narratives. As she prepared new records, She heard a faint thud from behind the metal door. She checked it once, but the hallway was empty, no wind, no objects capable of making the noise. She pushed aside her doubts and returned to work, only to discover the new employee had vanished. Following the corridors, she found his ID badge dropped outside the washroom. The lights inside flickered, and dripping water echoed unnaturally loud. Inside, the newcomer sat before the mirror, eyes bloodshot, crushed beneath invisible weight. He said he dreamed of a hand reaching from the freezer dream and reality blending into one. She tried comforting him, but then noticed a blurred figure reflected in the mirror beside him. She turned quickly, nothing was there, only air thick with cold. Realizing his mental state was failing, she planned to take him off duty. As they stepped out, a second knock echoed from the freezer, louder than before. They exchanged a look, silent, stretched like a tightened string, heavy with unspoken fear. She decided to inspect the freezer again to rule out any irregularities. As she grabbed the handle, frost spread across the door as though something inside was pushing outward. This time, she saw a water stain around the body, one that didn't belong in a room this cold. Its shape resembled someone struggling violently, yet nothing in the log suggested the body had moved. She photographed everything, though a deep, indescribable chill crept up her spine. The entire workspace felt shrouded in an unusual atmosphere, heavier than normal. Later that day, the police called again, requesting urgent re-examination. Their tone was tense. The case had taken a major turn, and injuries needed reconfirmation. She realized the inconsistencies on the body might be crucial clues. But when she tried retrieving earlier files, she found parts of the system data had been altered. Time logs were modified, yet no one in the mortuary had the authority to make such changes. She sensed someone was deliberately covering traces, and the mortuary was only one piece of a larger puzzle. Just then, she heard the newcomer shouting in panic from down the hallway. He pointed to a storage room corner, saying he saw a figure moving in the shadows. The corner was empty, but fresh footprints scattered across the dusty floor. The prints overlapped in different directions, as if several steps were taken in frantic repetition. She began to suspect these events weren't mere psychological breakdowns, but fragments of a hidden truth. As she prepared to leave the storage area, a third knock came from the freezer, heavy and unmistakable. She turned to report it, but felt a sudden icy breath behind her, chilling her to the bone. The sensation was brief yet real, as if something unseen had stepped out from the last room and was slowly approaching.